Hello, my name is Sam. I'm here with WMNF 88.5 FM here in Tampa, and I am here with Robert of Robert John and the Wreck, who are going to be at Ruth Eckerd Hall tomorrow on March 17th. So if you don't have your tickets, I don't know what you're doing. Uh, Robert, it's really great to talk with you, and I know that our Wi-Fi is a little spotty just because you're apparently in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, we're on the Joe Bonamassa Keeping the Blues Alive cruise right now. So we are making our way back to Florida.
As we speak via cruise with Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I was reading a little bit about the band, like just more so about the band. And it seems that you and the Wreck have this really great relationship with Joe Bonamassa that kind of has been throughout the band's history, I believe.
Yeah, we got to meet Joe and Joe's team on the first cruise we did, which was I think back in 2018. That's when we met them, and it's been going great since then.
Oh, fun. I mean, it's always cool to have like really cool musician friends who you're like, hey, you've done stuff. We've done stuff.
Yeah, it's great, especially on the boat. We get to meet a bunch of artists that we don't normally get to meet, so it's been great.
I was gonna say, yeah, like what is boat life like? Because I've heard that it's a completely different kind of audience. And like you see, and also because you're on the cruise, you see them for like multiple nights. And sometimes when you're like grabbing breakfast at like the brunch bar, like it can be like an interesting experience instead of going like a venue.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different. I don't think there's anything you can compare it to because you're on one ship, no one can get off. Um, so yeah, you end up seeing all the time. It gets weirder when you meet someone that you haven't met yet. Where have they been? Um, but yeah, it's great. It's great to hang out with these artists and get to know them. And back on we're on our own tours and traveling our own places, but we're all stuck here. So
Yeah, I mean, right. Like, at least, like, if you're going to be stuck together, at least, you're surrounded by ocean and you're surrounded by also like fellow amazing musicians and what sounds like to be some really nice fans. So that's really cool.
yeah, great people. Yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of it, like, like concerts and stuff, I know you've been around the world and across the US, but in particular, it seems that Europe, I mean, you sold out a ton of shows out in Europe. Where in Europe have you been recently? I think like did you just come from a tour? I mean, you're touring now, of course. Did you just come from overseas?
Yeah, we were overseas the whole month of February. So we got back on March 1st and home for a few days, and then flew out here to be on the cruise.
Yeah, yeah. Such is the life of an awesome touring musician international. That's great. Something else I want to ask you about too. I hear that the band has a podcast.
Yeah, we have one. We haven't done it in a long time because we're busy. But during COVID, we kind of hit it really hard, and it was a great thing, especially in COVID that we couldn't tour as much. So it was a fun way for us to stay in touch with the fans and let people know what was going on.
So you're saying that, yeah, it was definitely COVID times, kind of just like making sure that like you're still connecting with fans, kind of letting them know like we're still here, we're still making music. Now that you're outside of COVID, what is kind of like your favorite thing to talk about on the podcast?
Well, we haven't done a podcast in a while,
Mm.
just because we used to do it where even sometimes we weren't together all the time. So we just talk. We just sit down and have a conversation as if we were all hanging out. We drink and tell each other about our weeks, and it just getting to know who we are when we're not out on the road is really what it was about. We would have some guests on that we'd for them to in the conversation, and yeah, I think we'll get it back and running when the touring season is letting us take a break. But I'm excited to because it's nice to know we're doing it for a reason.
Right. Hey, we're still here. We're still thinking about you. Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably hard to
Yeah,
have a production studio when you're on the road, or in this case, on the high seas. That's probably a little hard. So
yeah,
it'd be great that yeah, like a new episode will be coming soon.
yeah.
Well, I guess like I just have like a few other like quick questions too. Just you were saying that, sometimes, yeah, you would just all just like talk on the podcast, just right, like as friends. Was there like a particularly funny moment that you can remember that happened that was recorded on the podcast?
We always like to tell like one tour story for every podcast, and
Oh,
there's one about our drummer getting lost in Spain. Now there's relationships involved, so it was really funny how we tell stories differently when there's people who may not have been around when the story happened, to say feelings and stuff. But so yeah, it's just fun.
how did your drummer get lost in Spain?
We don't have the time for that right now.
Oh, like you just said, Sam, we got wives and spouses, and what happens on tour stays on tour. That's fair.
That's when
fair.
the podcast will come back. We
We'll
save
explain.
the stories for that.
All right. Just for people here in the Tampa Bay area who are going to go to the show at Ruth Eckerd Hall tomorrow, what can they expect if they've never gone to a show of yours? What can they expect from the show?
We're excited to be there, and we just want everyone that comes to have a great time. And we're just excited to share our music and play everywhere we get a chance to. So we don't have a lot of time in these cities, so really we get to know the city from the people that come to the show. And so if everyone in Clearwater is having a great time, that means we're going to love that place and hopefully come back.
I think absolutely 100% that you are going to love the Tampa Bay people, the Clearwater people. This is a unique area. And so I think you're going to really love the energy that we bring to your show. I think it's going to be an excellent show. That is once again, Robert, John, and the Wreck happening at Ruth Eckerd Hall on March 17th. It's a Friday. It's tomorrow. And Robert, just thank you so much for joining me. And I have a great show tomorrow. We can't wait to welcome you to Tampa Bay.
Awesome. We're excited. And hopefully next time we talk, we'll be on a normal, clear connection.
Yeah, right. Like you will not be out in the middle of the ocean, and hopefully, yeah, we can like get you here at WMNF in the studios, and we can actually get you here live in person. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great.